Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Mepper. Today I'm going to be basically figuring out how to, I'm showing you how to, let's pick this thing up. Come on, there we go. Transfer information to this Mac. Basically, I have a bunch of stuff that I want to put on to this computer. This is going to be rather low effort kind of video, but I wanted to show that I was doing it. So this is actually Mac OS 10.9 Mavericks, which was the first version of macOS that shipped on this particular iMac back in 2013. It has some damage here, as you could see if I open the iris a little bit. There you go. You kind of see that right there. It's kind of cracked, but yeah. So I want to show you how I'm doing this. So here we go. Transfer information to this Mac. Let me get a bit of a better angle here. There we go, that should work. And well, how am I gonna do this? Well, there's a way to transfer information to computers like this, and it's through either another Mac, a time machine backup from another Mac, or another Mac's startup disk. So what am I going to do? Well, I am going to actually just transfer it from another Mac. And I'm just going to use the startup disk from that other Mac connected through Thunderbolt to transfer it. So this machine has a few Thunderbolt ports on the back, and I'm going to use them to their fullest potential. So here we go. I need to get the other Mac. I forgot where I put it. So here is the other Mac here. This is a 2013, a late 2013 13-inch MacBook Pro. And what's on here is a little bit special. So I'm going to show you that quickly before we get started here. And that's part of the reason why I'm using this to transfer the stuff rather than something else. Uh-oh. My camera's having some problems. Come on. There we go. Well, actually, this is not what I wanted to show you. This is just normal macOS. Let me get the actual, what I'm trying to show you, started up, which is on a different partition. I need to change where it's booting from, the startup disk, quickly. Come on. God, it takes forever. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to choose Oldie Blade, which is macOS 10.9.5. I'm going to restart using that. So here we go. It's going to take forever to restart. Might as well just hold the power button at this point. No point in waiting, right? And I'm going to press it, and I'm going to hold Alt on the keyboard to bring up the list of stuff, like that. I'm going to pick Oldie Blade, which is the option that's selected, and man, that's bright. And this will boot up in like 5 milliseconds, because this machine is really fast, has an SSD, and this is the OS it booted from, it came with, so it better be lightning fast. And there you go. So here is the OS, and that looks very, very cool indeed. So let's get that onto that thing right now. So I'm going to connect it through Thunderbolt. So let's do that. This machine, oh wait, actually I need to open a separate application on this first, which is called, oh nope, not called that. It's called Migration Assistant, which can be used to transfer the information directly from this computer to that one. Tweety tweety. Oh, that was weird. There we go. So I'm going to do to another Mac. And okay, well, I'm assuming this isn't going to run out of battery. This has a 70-something watt-hour battery, so assuming this is going to last a decent amount of time. Let's go connect this computer up. I need to find my Thunderbolt cable. I've lost my Thunderbolt cable. What the hell is it? Is that it? No, that's a DisplayPort cable. I'll go get one. I'll be right back. Okay, here I have this black OWC Thunderbolt cable. So I think it's OWC. I don't know. There's no markings on it except for Thunderbolt. So this is at least Thunderbolt 1, which is what these computers have. So I'm going to connect one to the side of the iMac. It appears to have 2 Thunderbolt ports, which is good. I'm going to connect the other side to one of the Thunderbolt ports on this MacBook Pro, because it actually has, if you can see this, you probably can't see that. Yeah, you can't see that, but it has 2 Thunderbolt ports. So I'm going to connect it to one of them. And I'm going to put this somewhere, like here, right? That'll look good. Yeah, I think it looks good. Or it will once I do this. Here we go. So now we have 2 computers. Hopefully you can read what's on them. I don't know. But let's do this. I'm going to do from a Mac, Time Machine, or Startup Disk. I found this computer right there, so I'm going to click on Continue. And that's the same code, so now it's looking for stuff to do between them. So that's pretty goofy, but that's what it's doing. And oh, here we go. And select what to transfer. I'm just going to do everything. It says connect a Thunderbolt or an Ethernet cable to transfer data faster, which is weird because that's exactly what I did. I mean, these computers, they're hooked up through Thunderbolt. Like the cable goes to the back of that one, so I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe my Thunderbolt cable's faulty or incompatible with this setup. I don't know. I mean, any kind of Thunderbolt cable should work, apart from Thunderbolt 3 because that uses a USB-C connector. But it says only 7 minutes remaining. There isn't a lot on here. There's only a couple applications that I tested the OS with, and then like a version of Minecraft that would run with a launcher that would run. And that's pretty much all that's on that partition that is transferring to there. And this machine's actually pretty interesting, the iMac itself. In fact, I bought it specifically because it's the highest trim model, I think, of iMac you could get in 2013. And I got it because it has an NVIDIA GeForce 780M, which is the most powerful NVIDIA GPU ever shipped in a Mac, like ever. And then the what's it called? The CPU is an i7, so it's even better than the i5 that it would have come with, which is already pretty good. Because I actually had a 2013 iMac, back when they were, relevant and new. And it was basically one of these, but like half the price and half the performance. But I bought this one because the price seemed right, and excusing the few blemishes it has, I think it's actually worth the $300 or so that I ended up paying for it. And I'm not saying it's just worth that to me. I'm saying as a useful computer, this was actually worth $300. This is worth $300, I think, today. It's a 1440p display. It's huge. It's bright. The speakers are great. They're a little more woofy than like a modern Mac would be. There isn't a ton of top end, but it's really bassy. It's going to sound awesome no matter who you are, except for if you're an audiophile. which I am, and it still sounds kind of awesome. And there's really not much that I can say bad about this computer. It's just fantastic all around. There's no high DPI shit to worry about. It's just a great machine. It's a great machine to use too, especially since this actually has 2 SSDs in it. This had a fusion drive, and well, what is a fusion drive? Well, fusion drive is basically a hard drive with a tiny SSD cache on top of it. Now what that means is when you're doing stuff on your computer and your like operating system, your Mac OS or your Windows is installed onto a hard drive, it's having to do a lot with that one drive. And I mean a lot. And hard drives have this thing called latency and seek times, which means you can't do that much on it at once, basically, is what that means, without experiencing a lot of lag and a lot of stuff that should be doing stuff that isn't doing stuff. So the solution to that for Apple was, well, let's just put a small cache on top of it with a storage volume that does not have these properties, aka an SSD, which is what in total is what's in this machine and what's in my iPhone, my new iPhone, and what's in basically every computer today. But at this point, those were very expensive, and Apple didn't want to ship a machine like at the lower prices that they were offering their machines at, that had only that medium, because they had to put a lot of that medium into it to make it useful. So instead, they put a hard drive in it, a pretty large hard drive at that, and then put a 24 gigabyte SSD cache on top of it. And what that did is basically improve the responsiveness of the machine, and it mixed it with the vast capacity of the hard drive. So it's basically the best of both worlds. Of course, that means now you have 2 storage volumes that can fail instead of just 1. So it's literally half as trustworthy as any other machine with one of those. At least if you're talking about one with an SSD. If you're talking about a machine with a hard drive, well, it's not quite half as trustworthy, but yeah, because hard drives fail a lot more than SSDs do. However, this thing actually doesn't even have a hard drive. The previous owner seems to have replaced it with an SSD, a hard drive with an SSD. The 1 terabyte hard drive with a 1 terabyte SSD. So, yeah. Now, unfortunately, I don't get the capacity that they would have had, because this machine actually has a 128 gigabyte cache for the Fusion drive, which means it has a 128 gigabyte SSD in there already. But what that means is that this computer, this iMac, instead of because the 1 terabyte hard drive in the Fusion drive was paired with a 24 gigabyte SSD to make it a Fusion drive, the 128 gigabyte SSD would have had to been paired with a 2 terabyte or larger hard drive to make it a Fusion drive. So I'm kind of sad that I didn't get the 2 terabyte or 3 terabyte hard drive that this would have had, with that SSD that it would have come with, because that's what it would have had. But the fact that they replaced it with a 1 terabyte SSD and left the other part of the Fusion drive in there, the other standalone SSD, that's pretty cool, because now I have an iMac that has 2 storage drives, 2 discrete storage drives, 2 SSDs, and no slowdown from a hard drive. I thought I was going to have to deal with the slowness of a hard drive, but I'm just not going to have to deal with that. And that really surprised me. I went to recreate the Fusion drive in Terminal, and I see that And like, it warns me that I have 2 SSDs installed, and this is not normal, but it's okay. And I'm like, what? But as it turns out, it's because I literally did have 2 SSDs. I just didn't know it. So this thing was actually a better deal than I thought I was getting at first. And I only knew that after I bought it. So this thing has 32 gigs of RAM. This thing has the GTX 780M graphics, and it has the top trim i7, the Intel Core i7, which is a quad-core CPU, which I think is actually multi-threaded in this instance. Maybe, I don't know. So yeah, let's restart because it's now done, and I can quit this and stop wasting this battery here. So, okay. Close that. Unplug the cabling. As previously mentioned, this machine also has a 1 terabyte SSD, as well as a 128 gig SSD, which I, of course, combined anyway into a Fusion drive, even though I'm not sure what that'll do, actually. Like, I have no idea. That just, I don't even think it should allow that, because why allow that? Like, I don't get it. Anyway, let's move this camera a bit closer so you can see. I don't know if this is going to work very well, but let's do it. Let me move this down a little bit. Okay. And okay, that's probably good enough. Let's decrease this a little bit. Now you can see what I'm seeing. There we go. Okay. So we're going to set it based on location. Okay, and now, well, I've kind of already set up the operating system, so that's why it looks fairly set up already. It's because it is. Actually, I'm going to lower this camera a little bit. And then I'm going to raise it up so it's a bit more of a inline shot here. Oop. Come on. There we go. That's it's a little bit better. Decrease the amount of. And there we go. Now, what can I do with this? Well, let's try to play some Minecraft. So I have this thing here called the Betacraft launcher, and I can launch any. No, I don't want to update. I can launch basically any Minecraft version I want. Actually, I do need to update because I'm not going to be able to play without an account unless I update. So yes, I would like to update. So it's going to download, auto-update itself, and launch the new version. So now I can play as myself, like that. I'm going to select a version. I'm going to select like a really old version, like Minecraft, let's say 1.6.4 isn't actually in here, so I guess we're going to play Minecraft 1.5.2. I'm going to edit instance. That's probably all good. Let's just click play, see what happens. It's going to download Minecraft 1.5.2 and launch it, theoretically. Oop. There we go. Notice 1.6 is available for manual download. Please click here for more information. Well, we don't want that. And actually, I need to adjust my mouse because the tracking speed is balls. There we go. Do not automatically adjust brightness. Okay, now we should set this game to full screen because if you guys don't know, if you just use the game as it is right now in such an old version and even in quite new versions, why is the sound not working? Hello? Why is the sound not working? Okay, it'll probably start working at some point. But why are we not, or why should we do full screen? Well, I'm going to show you why. Performance is going to be worse when we're not in full screen. This is even the case today. If you set an application to full screen, that tells macOS to use the most GPU and CPU resources for that application. And this was the case even back then. So we're going to create a world, and then we're going to do game mode creative, so we can fly around and check stuff out. And here we go. Building Tyrannosaurus Rex's stuff. There's random wood on the floor. Why is there random wood on the floor? That's not where it's supposed to go. Anyway, so yeah, here's Minecraft 1.5.2. It's the kind of version you would run on a computer like this. And this is actually not running that badly. Whoopsie. How do I open F3? There we go. 120 FPS, 81 FPS, 116. But as we can see, it's not terribly smooth. It's pretty smooth, but if you're a gamer, you'd notice some lag. So what can we do about this? Well, we can open our inventory to get the stupid thing out of the way. Then we can enter full screen, but with Command F11. With Alt F11. With Control F11. With Shift Command Control Option F11. Oh my god, what is happening? FN F11? FN Control F11? FN Control F11. And the game is much smoother now. It's getting basically no lag. And I think we can definitely turn on VSync, and there's not going to be that much of a deficit in performance. And this is running at 1440p at the natural resolution of this Mac's monitor, which is 1440p. So this is running excellently. This is basically like having a high-end gaming rig in 2013, in like mid-2013, when the 780 came out. I actually do have a desktop 780 that I'm going to show off in later videos, but this is basically this is a 780M, so it's the mobile version of the 780, but that means it still runs stuff very excellently. It runs about maybe 75% of the speed, like 75% of the performance of a desktop 780. That's because it's meant to be used in a laptop. And I'm assuming that's because it was cheaper and because it fit Apple's cooling designs better than a full-fat desktop 780 did. So it's probably why they use the mobile variant, and they do this a lot. And in fact, they can pretty much be said that they're doing it nowadays with the new Apple Silicon stuff, which is stuff that previously was only in mobile phones and stuff. So instead, they're still doing this, just at a much larger and much more efficient and better scale. But this runs great. This is amazing. I hoped someday I find a machine that ran the games from when they came out as well as they did when they came out, when they were relevant. This is as close as I've seen any machine coming to that. This is running a 2013 video game flawlessly, as it should. And with that, I think I'm going to cut this video off and see how I'm going to upload it, because I don't know how big it's going to be. I'm going to have to run it through Resolve and do a whole bunch of crazy crap. So, well, hope to see myself on the big screen. Except I haven't showed myself in this video, and I won't so far. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great rest of your evening.